So you were a former lawyer working as a PA, and you wrote a script. Can you talk about how you got that into people's hands and what that process was?
Yeah, there was a little more working than that. I was doing PA work on commercials, and the reason I worked on commercials was because you could work for 2 or 3 weeks and then have 2 or 3 weeks to take off and write. I didn't want to do. I PA'd on one job. I think my first IMDb credit is as a PA on My Demon Lover, which is a New Line Cinema movie from way back when. Anyway, and I knew I didn't want to do movies because that was too long away from writing. And, the hours are grueling and all that stuff. So when I got into commercials and I found producers that would hire me and I could call and go, my rent's due in a week. And they would go, come in, I got something for you. So I would work and write. I also had a theater company at the time in Hollywood, which is it sounds fancy, but it wasn't. It was me and 5 friends, and they were all actors, and I would write plays specific to their strengths. And one of them was Bruce Lee's son, Brandon Lee, who was my best friend, who tragically died on a bad accident on set. But anyway, I'm writing these, and then it was the weirdest thing because people started coming. It was a crappy theater. It's no longer there. It was called the Fig Tree Theater, which makes me think that it probably used to show porn movies in there or something.
Sounds about right.
But anyway, it's now part of the Hudson Complex, and it's very nice. But so we had a play, and I didn't have enough money to go through Ticketron or anything like that for people to buy tickets. And our thing was we thought we were very pure. We will run this for 6 weeks, and that is it. We're not in this to make money. We will move to the next. We don't want to get tired of something. So, and we would have shows on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and a matinee on Sunday or something. Didn't have enough money for Ticketron, and so I took my answering machine from home, and there was a phone line, got a phone line there at the theater, plugged it in, and then at lunch from one of my jobs, I would come over and write down and call people back to say, yes, you're good for Thursday. And it was about a 30-seat theater or something. It just so happened somebody from the LA Times came, because they'd heard good things about it, and came and gave it a great review. So then, the next day you come in and you go, oh my God, 145 people want to come Saturday night and I've got 30 seats, So I got an agent through that, but she was for playwriting. And I continued to write plays, continued to write screenplays. I had become, one of my other jobs was I was a reader for an agency called Triad, which has since merged into William Morris, but back then it was one of the big 4 agencies. And I thought, this is a good thing for me to do coverage, because I'll read scripts that are out there, I'll read books that are current, all that, and also make a little money. And there was a senior, this is the freakiest thing of all time, but there was a senior partner there who had his favorite book that he had passed along to the coverage division to have covered. And it was given to me to cover, and I covered it. I thought the book was lovely, but I didn't think it was a movie, and so I passed on it. And then he called, and his name is Lee Rosenberg. And he called down and said, so I need to meet this John Lee Hancock. And she went back and looked, and she goes, you passed on Lee Rosenberg's book? And I go, I would have given it, I didn't have to pass on it, you could have told me. I'm fine, I can be bought. It's like best book I ever read, And so I went in for a meeting with him, and he said, he was very Harvard bow tie, and he said, when I come across perchance something that I deem is good writing, I should ask the person who wrote that, do you write? And I said, yes, sir, I write. And he goes, do you have anything perchance I might read? And I said, I do. And what had happened was I had a script and I had done rewrites on it, and I was just at the perfect time. And he goes, I'm leaving tomorrow to go to Europe. I will take it on the plane with me and read it if you'll deliver it here by tomorrow at noon. And I said, okay. And it just so happened that by chance I had something that was ready to be handed off. And I know for a fact if I'd said, I'll have it, I'm going to be finished with it in a couple of weeks, that would have gone by the wayside. I took it to him. He read it on the plane. He called me when he got back, and he goes, I'm going to pass this along to an agent here at the agency that I think shares your tastes, which meant he didn't like it, but somebody else would. And Rhonda Gomez became my first agent, and nobody at Triad would sign me, because back then they had a literary division, and every different agent had to say yes to you to sign you. Now, yeah, And at the time, it was all Shane Black and Lethal Weapon, and it was buddies, and I was writing 70s movies, so it was like, that wasn't a great fit. So Rhonda said, I want you to be, I'll be your agent, you're a pocket client, you won't be signed. And there were 3 of us that were pocket clients, and we were all broke, and we all went to her house for dinner once a month. And it was myself, it was Nicole Holofcener, and it was Vince Gilligan. So they didn't want to sign any of us. And then with her, I wrote A Perfect World, and for a minute, it looked like German money was going to come in, and I was going to be able to direct it. Back then, there was this influx, kind of like Chinese money now. Is it real or not?
Right.
And back then, it was German money.
Yeah.
And they go, you can direct this, and they'll give you this amount of money to do it. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I want to direct. And then Rhonda read it and said, forget the German thing. So this is a great script. Says what you're trying to do is get inside the walls. You can get inside the walls with this script and do whatever you want. And she goes, and so she was known to have good taste. She sent it to 5 really, really big producers and said, don't have this covered, read it, and call me Monday morning. And they all did it. And on Monday I had 5 meetings set up. And one person, Mark Johnson, who wanted to produce it. So.
And you continue to work with Mark
Mark,
to this day.
This movie we're talking about, the new one's Mark, yeah.